that better now? Okay. Yeah, my audio was off. That was awesome. Okay. There's 5 minutes I can do that. All right. So there was, I didn't say anything that was very important. But it did say, oh, is it not very, all right, I was very loud. Someone told me that, what? Oh, some people maybe said that he could have separate microphone or something when I was running on Monday. Now there's noise. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I tested it too beforehand. And all right, let's try this one. Is that any better now? That sound better? It was on some different microphone. I switched it to the microphone that's on my camera. Okay. It said capture input terminal microphone, and then I went with the microphone that's on my camera. Hopefully that's better. Okay. All right, good. All right. But anyway, what I was saying for the first 2 minutes was the Monday email. There's a survey in it. If you could take the time to fill that out, because a lot of it deals with the program, this online program, Training Tilt, so we can help service people better. That would be great. I'm going to leave it open a few weeks. It's not like going to close at the end of the week. I don't need the feedback ASAP, but just if you got a few minutes, it's only like 6-7 questions, just over most of them multiple choice, just a couple quick answers. But I'd appreciate that. The other thing that was in it, the Monday email, was this little article here. I usually include it in the end of the emails, but I just made it a separate piece for you guys so you could read through it at your leisure whenever you wanted to. But it kind of breaks down a race for you on how you prepare for your big races. I had to change a lot of things in it because we're not technically driving to a race at all. We're doing it virtually, so I got to pull out a lot of things and change a lot of things. But the first thing is this race prep. This is kind of the week of your race, this week, so to speak. So, and you can see if you read through those paragraphs, the main thing is to not diverge too drastically from what you're training and what you normally do day to day. Stay with the training. Don't try to get carried away with the training. Thinking that this last week is going to do something magical. It won't. Like I said on Sunday's meeting, there's more things you can do to make your race worse than better this last week. So, just stay relaxed and go through the workouts and get good workouts in, but make sure you're doing the rest too. And then, we're not running anything that would require you to carb load or anything like that. Study after study has shown anything below like a half marathon or an hour of racing, carb loading isn't even really a factor in it. As long as you are taking in carbs in your regular diet, you're not doing a keto diet or something like that. You are getting carbs. You should be fine. And then it goes over, what to do the night before, get things ready, stuff like that. So that's all there. You can read race day. That I had a lot more, and I had to pull a lot off just because you're not driving to a venue, you're not meeting with people to warm up, you're not doing anything like that. You're basically just kind of waiting around that day to get to the race. Luckily for us, the goal race used to be Ohio, Michigan in the evening. And so it was kind of a different type of race schedule for people. If you're someone who races, once in a while or even sporadically, most races are in the morning on the weekends. Ohio, Michigan is one of those freak occurrences where it's a race on a Thursday in the evening. And so people really get messed up on how to go about their day on Thursday before a race when it's not in the morning. So I had that broken down a little more. Basically, though, when you get up, you can do your race on Saturday or Sunday. You just want to get a little something in your system to make sure you're not running on an empty stomach and go through a normal course. Make sure you have a race course or a course set up so you can do the run without having to stop at streets or things like that. That would be my biggest piece of advice. Make sure you can do your 5K, 4 mile, whichever you choose. Make sure you can do that without having to wait for traffic and things. Maybe find a bike path or something like that. Ottawa Park, Wildwood, Metro Park, your areas, wherever you're from, there should be something around you. Warm up tells you what to do for the warm up. Light minute jog or walk for about 10 minutes, a little longer than a normal 5 minutes because you want to get a sweat going for sure and be able to stretch out. Because you don't have to go right into the race. You can stop, stretch, use the restroom, whatever you need to do, and then get into the race. Do a couple strides, get the legs loose for, if you're going to be running it quickly, you want to get those legs loosened up a little bit. But what you don't want to do in the warm-up, I always warn people, is warm up and then stand around for 20, 30 minutes and then start racing, because then you just lost everything from the warm-up. You want to keep warm, you want to keep the sweat going, you want to be ready to go. The only thing you should be really worried about is bringing your heart rate down so you can get ready to race. The sweat's fine. We want you sweating, so that still means you're loose and warm. And then the race just tells you how to break down the race. One of the big things that I underline, that I stress to people all the time in any race, when I coach high school kids on up to marathoners, is you need to focus on point to point when you race as you begin to get later stages of the race, because you begin to fatigue. And it's a diminishing return in that you have to feel like you're running faster in the later stages of a race just to maintain what you were doing. Like, let's say you go out, your first mile is 11 minutes. It's going to feel harder to run another 11-minute mile after that. So it's going to feel like you're running faster, but you're really not. You're keeping that 11-minute pace usually right around there. So it's going to feel harder as you go through the race. It's going to feel like you're expending more effort, and that's for obvious reasons. You're getting fatigued. So it is going to feel like you have to pick it up just to begin to maintain pace as you get through the later stages. So I always advise people, break it down point to point. Find somewhere down the bike path you're on, the course you're on, the park, telephone pole, soccer goal, kids playing, whatever, street light, and say, I'm going to run as hard as I can, or I'm just worried about that point, to get to that point. Because we all get fatigued at the end of the race, and that last mile or two of the race, you're like, oh, good Lord, when is this over? Sometimes. So by breaking it down point to point, you're making the race more manageable for yourself. I just need to get to the end of the corner here, and before I turn right, and then we'll see how I feel. Because it's rare for anyone to feel great at the end of the race. No one's feeling great as they come in. They're hurting. You feel great afterwards when you run well. But I don't know how many races I've run in my lifetime, but I've never been running really fast and saying I feel really good today. You usually just feel whooped and tired and dead, but you keep pushing. It's when you're done is when you feel good, seeing what you've run. So always keep that in mind. And when you get that fatigue, point to point. Find somewhere to run to, so you're not thinking, oh my God, I have a whole mile to go. You're thinking, oh, I just got to get to there, and then we'll see how I'm doing that. And check in with yourself, and then find another point. It'll make that mile go by a little quicker for you. Okay, so that's a big piece of advice I always give everybody, especially like I said, when you hit that final last mile or two of a race. Post race, basically, don't just stop and not do anything else. Do a little more walking or slow jogging in for 5 to 10 minutes to let those legs kind of flush out the lactic acid and get things moving through your blood now again. Cool yourself down, heart rate down a little easier too by doing that. And then do your normal stretches or whatever you do, or dynamic routine to get ready, stretches, sedentary stretches afterwards. But that's the main thing going through this race. So are there any questions about your race coming up this weekend? Anything I'm not covering or you have a question about? Feel free to ask. It's not a problem. I've run enough races. I think I can field the question with you. But if not, the other thing I was going to talk about is, what's next for you. Whether you're in a program or not, I know we're starting our fall program up, and this is kind of a group that I usually don't push to the fall program, because a lot of you are just starting out, like going from almost nothing to I'm going to run my first 5K, 4 mile, or whatever you're doing. And I don't want to all of a sudden say, oh, well, now let's do a half marathon, 13.1 miles, because we're here to get you into a program, obviously, but we're going to do it we promote running before we promote, making $1. So I'm not going to advise any of you to get into the fall training program, because unless you've been running pretty actively and feel comfortable moving up to that range, I'm going to say hold off, get a little more comfortable with your fitness and your running ability, run walk ability even. you know, Sean does it, and she does the run walk thing with it, and it works for her. But if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. We're going to have another 5K program start mid-September, like September 12th or 14th. And that's going to go 12 weeks. So that'll be a little longer than this one, a couple weeks longer. And it's going to hopefully touch or get into the holiday races if we can clear some of this COVID and get into some small races, you know, the McQueen's or the Miracle on Main Street. We can get into those, and then those are some 5Ks to be able to run. But it would be set up like this. It would be in person and it would be remote if you needed it. You wouldn't have to be there in person. You would still do remote training too. But it would be a 5K program again. And if you wanted to move out of this group into maybe one that runs more, you could do that too. So there's a couple options out there. But even if that's going to be off the table, I'm going to tell you, keep going with what you're doing. Don't go back to being, you know, if anyone was sedentary before this, don't go back to doing that. You know, I can give you study after study how being sedentary is almost worse than smoking. It's just not a good thing to do. Walking, running, anything activity is much better than sedentary. But what I would do is, even if you're stuck, you know, maybe financially, you're like, I don't want to pay for anything. Maybe next year, use the program. You have, you know, 10 weeks, you know, go to a week maybe that you know you can do and work on that week. You know, use some of the weeks and workouts in there for yourself to keep yourself going. These programs, the point of these programs is to give you accountability, have you with people, give you some motivation. But I understand if, you know, we all don't have a bottomless money pit that we can just keep bringing money into this. But I promote the programs; they're pretty successful. We're also going to start individualized ones too, eventually. But that's a little down the line. If someone wanted something specific, we're going to be working on that too in September. But the bottom line is keep doing something because we want to see you guys healthy. The coupons for the store are still good, probably through the month. Well, I'll make sure that they take them through the month of August, just so if anyone is doing maybe the fall program, if you didn't get shoes yet, you can still use that coupon to get shoes. Any other questions? It's been fun, guys. I mean, it's really been fun. This was new for me too. I've never done these Zoom meetings. I've always sent out emails. I like this a lot better. It allows me to explain things better and people to ask questions instead of me sending out an email and then I get a bunch of cryptic emails because people really aren't understanding what we're doing. So this is much better. I had fun with this. You guys are great. Even though it's like the same 7 or 8 of you every week, it's still all right. We whittled down from about 31 to about, I'd say 9 or 10 consistent people. So those of you that are consistent, that shows you just the ratio. You never really notice it when we do in-person training because people just kind of dwindle off. You don't see them, so you forget about them because I'm not seeing people in Zoom meetings or seeing my list of people who go through the racing, the calendar and comment on your workouts and that. So I don't really notice that when we're doing in-person. But this is like, this is interesting to see just the number of people that kind of dwindled off. There's only been about 9 to finish out this last month. That's a good question, Joan. Is the intermediate group program doable for us to do on our own? Yeah, I would say it was. I would keep an eye on your mileage, kind of see what mileage you were doing the last few weeks, and make sure you don't increase beyond a 15%, 20% range. So like if you were doing 20 miles last week, you know, 20% of that is about 4 miles. So I wouldn't really go past 24 to 25 miles the following week. And I would do that for a couple of weeks. And then if you wanted to add a little bit more, again, another 15 to 20%, you could do that. Yeah, you could. You definitely could. It was good. Okay. But if you have any questions too, like after this program, I'm a coaching junkie, running junkie. I will answer questions. I will definitely not leave you hanging if you're out there in 2 weeks and you're like, what do I do? I'm completely lost. I'll definitely point you in the right direction. So don't lose my email. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to me if you have an issue or looking for some help with something. But we'll definitely be doing, you know, things like this all throughout the year. Hopefully we can meet more in person once it starts. We're doing small groups now, but like I said, we're still doing remote because of COVID now. So, and we'll still keep motivating people. And I'm handling all the online coaching. So if someone out there can't do the in-person with fall or holiday and wants to do remote, I will be in charge of that part of it. So I will be looking after all the new people who want to do remote. Maybe your schedule doesn't permit meeting people in person, and that's a lot of people nowadays with the crazy schedules that's going on in schools and work and everything else, as I can see. Yeah, I'll work on the mic too. I know. Thanks, Melissa. I think maybe I don't know. I'll see what they said to get a headset. Maybe make it official. Look at real Star Wars behind me. I look like the guy in the cockpit. But if there are no other questions, if you guys get closer to the race and have a question, let me know. Email me. Otherwise, good luck this weekend. Weather's looking halfway. What's that? They should have. They're going to open up the Jeep 4-miler, I think, this weekend. I think that's what it is. Friday or Saturday. I got an email. Let me see. Get the email. I got to move back to the emails. Oh, Mark's question is asking about when do we have. Okay. That's a good question because it's not. This one isn't a race I made, so this isn't dependent on me. Like our time trial, that was all me. I made that one. The Jeep 4-miler, it looks like you're picking up. If you're picking up a packet, it will be ready Friday, or else they'll mail them to you. Yeah. If you wanted it mailed, they're going to mail them out. The packet pickup is Friday, so I'm assuming that the race won't begin until after you get your packet. I would say they'll open it up on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and then they'll leave it open for probably 3-4 days. So as long as you're in that window that it's open, you can submit your time anytime, and it'll get stacked up with everyone else's. But now it just won't be our training group; it'll be anyone who entered the G4 mile because that 2-mile time trial we did was just us alone. I made it within our training group. This is a whole separate thing. So, you can go and pick up your shirt and medal at the store in Sylvania. It says in my email. You can still register too if you haven't. This Friday, 4 to 7, they'll be outside and you can get your packet and everything then. And I think they had a mail-in option too. Looks like they're giving you soap. That's something new. I've never seen soap here out. But they're giving you soap along with your packet for that. Maybe they're telling us. If you didn't register, you can still go online, register under our website. What if they have no intention of doing it? Oh, that's that's totally up to you. You can do the whole training. Oh, yeah, you can run in to get your time and see how you're doing, looking for improvement. Um, well, I'd like to see what you did compared to the 2-mile time trial. So yeah, definitely. If it's not in the Jeep results, I just kind of like to see how people have progressed and see if what's doing. Because I like to compare it to the 2-mile time trial too. If I can see that, yeah. So if you're not in the race and do it, send me your time because I definitely want to look at it and see how the training goes with that. If everyone's having success, obviously, put a program out there if people aren't doing all that. But the races. If you're unfamiliar with our website, you just go under here under races, and it's in there. Maybe under races right here. Yeah, you can see Jeeps right here. You just click on it, it'll take you to registration. But also, if you have kids that run, we have our team week, as you can see right here, starting this week. So the 5th through the 16th, they come into any Dave's store and they get a T-shirt. If they buy shoes, they get shoes, all this other stuff, and they get a discount on everything. So if you have kids that run, I don't know, some of you out there might have someone in cross country or running CYO or something like that around here. They have our team week going from the 5th to the 16th. We're looking for shoes for them too. But yeah, as Sean said, if you're not registered for Jeep or anything like that, it's you don't have to be. It's not in your fee for this, but that's up to you if you want to register and run it. If you don't, just get a 5K, especially 5K or 4-miler for the Jeep if you want. It's up to you, and shoot me your time so I can compare it to the 2-mile time trial. I'd like to see how those stack up. Okay. Anything else with that? You're registered for the 4 miler. I'm assuming they're going to open it up this weekend. And they usually leave it open for 4 or 5 days in case someone can't get to it on the weekend. All right. All right. All right. All right. I think we covered everything, and we're going to run out of time anyway soon. Okay. Again, thanks all of you for doing this. We appreciate it. It was fun. The challenges were great. We're going to be doing more of these challenges. This is some of these things. The good thing about this COVID stuff, it's given us some cool ideas to start using, and the challenges have been fun. We're going to be second. We're not going to be able to catch them. We tried. I'm impressed though. We did this with like 9 people. The other group, I was talking to their coach. She has like 12 or 15 still engaged. They had like a couple more than us, but we had the second most number. And she kept like 12 or 15 still hung around, and we're doing the challenges. We only have 9. So I think we did really well with what we had. And we beat a lot of the other groups, and they had more people in theirs still participating. So that's impressive. I think we did really well. That you guys that are all on here all participated in all of them. So, I'm glad the people that participated are on here, so I can thank you guys for it. And again, if you have questions about your training or anything as you go down the road, hopefully I see you in another program. Come out to one of our group runs. Alicia in our group was there yesterday, so I got to meet her. It was pretty cool. She was pretty psyched for her race this weekend. So if not, don't be a stranger. Come out to our free group runs. Sylvania Store on Mondays, Fallen Timbers on Wednesdays. Early morning if you want to drive out there to Tam O'Shannon on Tuesdays and Fallen Timber Wednesdays too. It's all on our website. But other than that, thanks guys. It's been fun, and good luck this weekend. Whenever you do your race, or if you do it on your own, good luck either way. It still counts. All right, gang. Thanks for stopping in. Good luck, and I'll see you down the road.